nice people here. Oh my god, I'm going to tell you a joke. Vito walks into a bar. It says to the bartender, "Hey man, can you reconstruct me?" The bartender says, "Reconstruct what?"
Hello?
Oh fuck.
That was weird. So, long time no moron. I just got back from dumpster diving. My fridge is full of food from the dumpster, so I felt like I could adequately take a break to record a video now that I've provided for my little family in the best way that I know how. Long story short, about 3 weeks ago, I told myself I wanted to make an animated outro, like a short looping outro for my channel, perfectly within my realm of capabilities. Not a big challenge. I thought I'd take a week off and, do it and just kind of take a break. But after about 2 days worth of work, I walked away from my computer, and when I came back, the whole project was gone because my computer had restarted. And there's two things you have to know about me. One, I'm a GIMP user, so it doesn't automatically save periodically. And two, I don't ever save projects while I'm working on them. I don't know why. I just never got into the habit of it. I think it's because usually when I sit down to work on a project, I do typically tend to work on it start to finish. I sit down, I work on it, and then I'm done, and I save it, and it's done. I just am not like a project file saver. I don't know, I never have been. I guess I don't normally revise things after they're done, and if I do, I usually like to start from scratch, so. Another reason I've been gone is I did get a few new piercings, and quite frankly, I just looked scuffed. Like, I just looked like shit, and I didn't think that it would be very good to, like, put myself on camera and be, like, just disgusting, Like, even now, I mean, my piercings aren't crooked. The bar is just long and sitting weird because it's still swollen. Anyways, I thought to get back into the swing of things today, I would talk about something that is near and dear to me. And by near and dear, I mean I dropped out of college for it. I'm going to rate cosplays that I have done in the past because I love pointing and laughing at myself. But I'm also going to talk about them a little bit too. And we'll see where it takes us. So without further ado, I have been making costumes for ever. I have always done stuff like that. I don't know why. It's just fun. It's kind of like a neat form of escapism to me, Getting to be something that everybody likes, or somebody that everybody hates, or, just somebody else. It's nice. And I was an incredibly annoying teenager. I wore costumes everywhere all the time, completely inappropriate times. I wore them to school. I would wear them just to like random places. It didn't help that unfortunately a lot of the things that I was into, cough, Homestuck, were very viable, simple cosplays. And so those were some of my very first costumes. But I figured I'd give these guys some ratings. I'm thinking that like standard S through F scale. I'll try really hard to find pictures because I know for a fact I have photos of some of these, and they are just as bad as I remember. So it is with a heavy heart that I must say that we are starting strong with Dave Strider school cosplay on picture day. Yes, it went in the yearbook. Yes, my parents have copies of this picture. I don't have anything else to say about this. I'm not upset, I'm just disappointed. I guess it does get bonus points. I made the shirt myself, so. And I think I did model like my entire persona for the first half of high school, probably, around being Dave Strider. Like, I was just chronically online Dave Strider. Next, not getting any better, Dirk. Strider. Specifically God Tier Dirk Strider. I remember this was the first time that I had sewn anything terribly complex, and the pantaloons were like a whole level of just baffling to me. And I remember the leg holes were like too tight, and it was really uncomfortable to wear, so that was cool. Speaking of conventions, Yuki Nagato. So I decided to do a Yuki cosplay. Big fan of Haruhi Suzumiya, and so I thought, hey, I'll go as my favorite character, Yuki. I replaced her skirt with shorts of the same color. It was fun. Didn't get recognized at all walking around the convention, except there was a lovely gal who walked up to me and was like, oh my god, I love your Rei Ayanami cosplay. And I was like, unfortunately, I knew what I was getting into cosplaying she's not obscure, but I suppose she's not terribly popular. I am a Haruhi enjoyer, so I was hoping that somebody at the convention would be like, hey. But it could also be just that the costume sucked low-key. I don't know. Unfortunately, I think that the uniform style, because it's just like a school uniform, is similar enough that people were just like, yeah, that's Ayanami, like, whatever. But at least if a cosplay is like reliable and not uncomfortable to wear, that's ideal for a convention. Unlike this next one, which I don't know if I have any photos of. I'm gonna have to look really closely. If not, I'll just drop like a reference of the character so you can kind of tell what I'm talking about. This is the part where I admit that, unfortunately, I am also what the kids would call a furry. What can I say? I like giving non-human characters human traits, and I have this lovely character. His name is Wank, because high school me thought that was really funny, and he has really big ears, like really big ears, and I don't know why it never occurred to me that, hey, that might be kind of like big and heavy and hard to wear. So I elected to wear this head that I had made to the convention, and I suppose I could just dig it out. I might do that, but I really don't want to do that. I think his ears were like 2 feet tall, like just the ears alone, not the head. And the way they were attached to the head meant that they were still pretty floppy. And I remember after walking around the convention wearing the head for probably like all of 10 minutes, the ears started ripping off the fucking head. And I was like, well, that sucks. And we had to go back to the car, and I just had to like put the head away, because like. But speaking of characters that are furry adjacent, the next suit I made, I actually made in college, and I actually utilized it for a college end of year presentation. I thought it was cool, but my professors did not care. One of their exact responses was, I see the vision, but how does this benefit us as a program? Which is crazy work, because I'm a costume designer, and this is a costume. But not only that, but it's like a relatively complex costume that I don't see other students pulling off. And it was kind of funny because immediately after the presentation, I was approached by other people who were not from the costume design program, but were like theater majors. And they were like, hey, can you come consult on our show where we have puppets and we have costumes that are very similar to that? Yeah, so it's crazy that my professors were like, no, that's useless. Believe it or not, costume design isn't all medieval era like research, like taking notes. Sometimes it's just bringing characters to life, and I think that's why I love it, but that's also why I was not compatible with going to college for it. I will say the one problem with this, did I ever even say his name? His name's Mudek. And I will say that the one flaw this costume has, I keep looking over because he's actually like right next to me, but the one flaw this costume has is that when I made it, I didn't realize that because of the seal around the eyes, the airflow was just bad enough that the eyes fog over. And so I remember I took him to a convention and I wore him to the convention rave. And people were like trying to talk to me. And first of all, don't talk to people at a rave. 1, I'm trying to rave. 2, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I don't know what you're saying. I'm just gonna nod and smile like a dumbass. But anyways, The eyes completely fogged over. So I'm standing in the middle of this already hot, steamy rave. People are literally yelling at me like, I love your costume. Wow, is that your, like, character? Like, wow, did you make that? That's so cool. And I'm sitting here like, I can't see. I can't hear. I barely even know which direction I'm facing. Like, I do not know what's going on. I think it was like 2 in the morning and I was exhausted. We had been at the convention since probably like 10 a.m. Like, I had no idea what was going on. Genuinely. Next. This one I'm going to say is probably one of my favorites. I have very few photos of it. Again, I really only wore it once, and there were just like, I don't know. I'm not a photos person. I don't like taking pictures of myself. I don't like being perceived. I kind of like to just exist as an idea to people, and I let them do with that what they want. But I did a medic from TF2 cosplay. I'm a big fan of Team Fortress 2, and it actually turned out great. The coat was a little bit difficult. Again, I was still like kind of a baby at clothing making at the time. This was like, I want to say my senior year of high school. To this day, I'm actually still pretty happy with it, and I probably will pull it out and revamp it, honestly. So would recommend. Comfortable to walk around in at the con, and I mean, instantly recognizable. You know, even if you don't play TF2, you probably know who those guys are. If I could erase one of these on this list from existence without a single doubt, it would be this one. I remember I spent a lot of time on this and it just turned out bad. Like, just bad. I just all around, like, I just wasn't patient. I did not have the skills required for it, and I also just didn't plan very well for it. I am a Tweak South Park enjoyer. I love that guy. Very relatable. At the time of this cosplay, I was a barista, and I also am generally a very anxious person. And so I, of course, was very much ready to identify with that character. That said, I was also very much obsessed with specifically the Imp Tweak designs from the South Park games, and that's all fine and dandy. I love religious imagery in media, and that one was fun. But the final product of this cosplay was just bad. It was bad. So first of all, like big issue was that I decided I was going to go all out for the hooves. So instead of just having like flat feet and kind of just having bigger legs, like digigrade legs, I decided I wanted like stilt hooves, but I didn't want to spend any freaking money on these. So I remember I ended up getting like a pair of cheap high heels, lopping the heels off, screwing them to blocks of wood, and then like working around that to create like the legs, like with the fabric, that's fine. I remember I made the ass part of the costume too small, and then I just, to fix it, got a longer shirt, because I was already like running out of time. I was like, oh well, so I just wore a long shirt, like just a longer like green shirt, which is fine. I mean, hey, you know, no costume's perfect. But the second major flaw ties in to the hoof problem. See, when you're walking on these hooves, the way your foot is like how it would be with heels, right? Like the heel comes off the back, and then your toes are down here. So your foot, even though your heel's up here, your heel has that stability from the heel of the shoe. But I had obviously lopped the heel of the shoe off. So I was left walking around the convention on my toes. And I didn't really realize that this was not a sustainable activity until I had been doing it for about, it didn't take long, 15 minutes. I was not used to wearing, like, heeled shoes. Like, in my everyday fashion now, I'm very, like, I like to pull a lot from, like, 70s kind of inspired fashion. And so I do actually wear a lot of kind of, like, platform, heeled, kind of funky, like, boots and stuff. So if Now Me did that, I could probably get away with it for like a decent period of time. Like I'm used to it. But high school me had never even worn. I didn't. Heels were not a thing. I didn't wear heels. I would, I was a gay little baby. I didn't do anything like that. I wore Converse. I had probably the like worst flat feet possible. So I'm walking around this convention and I'm already getting wobbly by like 15 minutes. And people are like, "Oh my god, like I love your cosplay," which like pack it up. That shit sucked. That was bad. It was not good. And then I'm walking around, I have this dumb plastic pitchfork from Spirit Halloween. And at one point I somehow managed to step on the end of the pitchfork. And then of course my legs are already wobbly. So both of my ankles give out, and then I just end up eating shit in the middle of this hallway. And everybody around us is like, "Oh my god," like oh yeah, the other problem with that cosplay was that I ordered the cheapest wig possible and then barely styled it. So I was just kind of wearing this like banana yellow like plastic wig. I swear to God, it's so bad. It drives me nuts. Every time I see the photos, I'm like, please, like, just let me die. Anyways, honorable mention. I have been working on these two costumes for probably like a year or two. I get like these back burner projects that I pick up every couple months and work on and pick away at. And I've told myself for like the last 2 years that I was going to go to like our local convention. So if I don't have anything like new to bring to the table there, I'm just like, I kind of feel weird going. But I've been working on a digital witch Mayura cosplay for like 2 years. And I've been sitting on it, kind of working on it off and on, because the other thing is that as I mature, I realize that I would rather spend 3 years working on something and have it turn out great than a month and have it turn out really just fuck off, like just. And I've rushed so many cosplays in my life that it's, you just get to a point where you're like, I would rather that my work just looks good, even if I'm not as dedicated to it by the time I'm done. It's just nice to see it through. That said, Mayura's hat is evil, and I literally have the entire rest of the cosplay done. I just haven't decided how I want to do the hat. Like, I have 3 different methods I want to use, and I just haven't picked yet. This year's my year, okay? 2026 is my year. I'm going to do it. It's going to happen. And this one is incredibly embarrassing, and I know that it smells like clown. But Wally from Welcome Home. I love the character design. Super fun. I love the colors. I love puppets. I got done making the hardest part of his costume, actually, which is the pants. I worked for probably, I think, just like 2 days straight. Like, I don't know what it was. I just like had this like zap of like, I have to do this. And I worked for 2 days straight on these pants, and they turned out awesome. And then after that, nothing. Haven't done shit. The pants are just sitting folded. They're just sitting folded on my work desk. I can see them from here. So that one's a pipe dream. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I think the logistics of the whole thing just kind of freaked me out, and I just gave up. So I worked really hard on those pants, pressing each seam and everything. I spent so much time on those. So I guess it would probably be kind of silly to let them go to waste. But so yeah, we'll pick back up from here. I have plenty of video ideas. Sometimes I just get a little overwhelmed. I think with my own personal expectations, and that can kind of hinder my progress. So I'm out of things to say. Can you just pretend like I said something useful here? you can just imagine it in your mind's eye, like, just,